This is Nick Baisley from FilmSnobbery, and I am here at the Palm Springs Shorts Fest. And who am I here with tonight?
You're here with Mathias Pardo.
Matthias, what movie are you here with?
I'm here with a film called Spring Tides, and the French title is Les Grandes Marées.
Frenchman over here.
Frenchman.
Oui.
Oui.
What's the movie about? And feel free to do it in French. No, kidding. I'm not subtitling any of that shit. No, go ahead.
So the movie is about a father-son relationship. Everything happens on a boat in Brittany. And it's about this decision of the son who doesn't want to become a fisherman like his dad wants him to be. So it's this point of decision, basically. It focuses on this.
How personal a movie was this? Is this kind of also a way of you telling your father, like, I want to be a filmmaker, not whatever you expected me to be? Or is this a completely kind of original story? Was there a personal element to it?
No, I think it's an original story. I wanted to make a film about how tradition is getting lost in the modern world because fishermen, for example, it's a job that is very hard. And so to pass it along generations, it's not as easy as like 2 centuries ago or 50 years ago. So I wanted to do a film on this. And then after, when you're writing, of course, you attach personal elements to it so that you can rely on. For example, there's a girlfriend that appears, like the girlfriend of the young boy appears after 2 or 3 minutes. In a script writing, you would say it's the element that perturbates the hero,
Yes.
and that disturbs the hero in a certain way.
Inciting incident almost?
The inciting incident, like the first big obstacle he has to face, and that is going to challenge him and to make this decision of whether or not he's going to stay as a fisherman like his dad wants to be.
Did you go to film school?
I went to NYU Tisch Asia in Singapore.
Seems like we're getting a lot of those guys today. But
I think we are almost 4 or 5 films in competition. But my film is not part of the graduate program. I did it after I graduated.
what I was asking a lot of those film students, what obviously you went to film school, you learned a lot of technique, you learned a lot of, hey, hands-on, here's a camera, this is how you use it type of deal, here's your crew, work with them. What didn't they teach you?
Hold on, let me think about it. Because they don't teach you a lot. So hold on. I'm gonna tell you. I dropped out of school after 2 years. The program is 3 years total. I dropped out after 2 years in Singapore because I thought I had enough education from a school. I think a school, the limit of the school is the experience. You are in your comfort zone. You're working with other students all the time. You have teachers that help you all the time. You have equipment, you have no problems of fundings, and you have no problems of distribution whatsoever and you don't care about mistakes in film school because you're there to make mistakes. Whereas in the real world, mistakes are usually, it's hitting harder on you, mistakes. So I think film school doesn't teach you how to cope with mistakes in the real world. And film school doesn't teach you how to fund a film, especially in America where you don't have any government support. You only have grants or private investors. And I guess film school doesn't teach you how to get a private investor because it depends on who do you know and who's your dad and who does your dad knows or who do your mother know.
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
Basically, yeah.
Where did you guys actually shoot?
I shot in France. And yeah, I shot in Brittany, in the west part of France.
Off camera, literally just before we started rolling, we threw out a reference to Jean-Luc Godard, and my question, his fervent support of independent film and film in general. He gets quoted by guys like Tarantino all the time and stuff like that. My question is, what is the independent film culture like in France? Is it as prevalent as it is here? I mean, I'll speak with a lot of students, or not students, but just filmmakers from, say, Great Britain, and I'll say, what is independent film like over there? And they'll say, there's no studios here, so it's all independent film. We got Pinewood, and they're too busy making Bond movies. So is it very similar in France? Is independent film kind of more of an American idea versus France?
In the independent film world in France is firstly it's held by the government. Okay, so whenever a big budget film production is screened in France, anyone who goes and sees it has a 14% tax included in the price ticket that goes to the government funding for independent filmmakers. So even if 5 million people go and see Avatar, there is still 14% of those 5 million people who are going to give money to indirectly through the government to filmmakers like me. So basically there's a very strong independent filmmaking industry in France, and there is no middle industry like there used to be in the 90s, or like for example the films in France are either under 1 million or above 30 million. There is no middle film anymore. It's the same. It's what's happening in America as well. In most of the countries, they tend to have either huge, big production films, or they have very, very low budget independent films, and so that's basically what's happening in France.
So you have government support for films. Now the question is it, what about, you'll get your X percentage from the government. How easy is it to find other people to support film, independent film out there?
You have in France when you're writing a script, you have three options. Either you go through the government, either you go through the region of where you're shooting, or you go through the TV channels. You can try each of them, okay, with your script. So you go there, you show the script with a production company, how serious you are. They read the script. If it's relevant, if it's good, if it's well written, they're going to give you a certain amount of money. The minimum amount is 30,000. You can add them up. Okay, so for example, there are films here that have been produced by French government throughout TV, throughout region, and throughout the government itself, and it's about 200,000 the budget.
Wow. Could you could you have made the movie that you wanted to make, that you ended up making, the one that's screening here at Palm Springs? Could you have made this movie without school or government support? Would you feel that you would have gotten the same quality of a film in the same amount of time?
I think what's amazing in films, especially nowadays, because our eye is used to any kind of quality of image, what really matters in the end, down to earth, it's the story. Nobody cares about whether you shot it with your iPhone or with your mobile phone or with an Alexa or a Red. Nobody cares. In the end, what matters is the story. Here, you in Palm Springs, you have films, and that's what's great about the program here, is that they screened. They don't screen only films that have been shot with a lot of money, or that you can see that there is a lot of production value because they had the money. They screen just good stories, So I think that's what matters in the end. It doesn't matter the quality of the big camera or the 30 crew people that are on set. What matters is your script, if it's good or not.
That's fantastic, and it's a really good thing to hear too, because there's so many festivals out there, and it's such a expansive world of film festivals. It's great to see people that do care about story, even at a prestigious film festival like Palm Springs Shorts Fest, or even their parent big film festival. I assume it's pretty similar. That's great. I want to say thank you for coming and talking to us about the film, and we look forward. Hopefully, if you're not here right now, you can search out the film, and hopefully people will be able to see it outside of the festival circuit at some point. Is that a plan?
It's getting distributed right now, so it's being sold to TV channels.
Fantastic. Well, I want to say thank you again for talking to us. And my family is French, and I've been to France myself, and yes. The only thing.
Speak French now.
Un peu.
You want to talk to the audience in French?
Comment ça va? Comme ci, comme ça. I don't know. I got nothing. But the one thing I've never heard in France is I've never heard one French. I feel cheated. Okay. I've never heard a French person go, oh. Can you do it once for me?
Really?
Yes.
We don't do that.
You don't do that? No. This is like the whole Foster's Australian for beer thing. I used to live in Australia. They hate Foster's out there. It's all about Victoria bitters. And I've never heard a French person go, ho, ho, ho.
But
no.
We never do that.
No, pull a baguette out of their back pocket. None of that. I can't. I feel cheated. Movies have lied to me, and mostly cartoons.
Go and see a Godard film, and they never do that.
They never do that. No. Instead, they make good quality cinema. But I want to thank you for coming on with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very much. Bye-bye.